We're getting in some big breaking news coming in at this point in time. Big decision by the centre to reduce the excise duty at this point in time. The central excise duty on petrol by 8 rupees a litre and on diesel by 6 rupees a litre. So essentially the price of petrol will reduce by 9.5 rupees a litre and diesel by 7 rupees a litre. And also, that's not all. This year, this is a series of tweets by the Finance Minister who says that we will give a subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder up to 12 cylinders for over 9 crore beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So this is a slew of announcements at this point in time coming in by the centre to reduce both the petrol and diesel prices. Remember, this issue has been extremely contentious. We've been seeing skyrocketing fuel prices. We've been seeing inflationary pressures on various aspects as a result of the high fuel prices, which has been sort of getting into other areas as well. All essentials have been extremely, the prices have been going up. And now, of course, the centre has decided to reduce the excise duty on fuel. So 8 rupees excise on petrol and 6 rupees on diesel has been cut. This is the latest developments coming in at this point in time. Just to take you through what the Finance Minister has said, and I'm quoting here, she says, we are reducing the central excise duty on petrol by 8 rupees a litre and on diesel by 6 rupees a litre. This will reduce the price of petrol by 9.5 rupees per litre and diesel by 7 rupees a litre. It will have a revenue implication of 1 lakh crore per year for the government. I wish to exhort all state governments, especially the states where reduction wasn't done during the last round, to implement a similar cut and give relief to the common man. So this also now paves the way for states stepping in and reducing the state taxes, the VAT on fuel as well. Very often states have pushed the blame on the centre, saying that the centre is not reducing excise. Now Finance Minister also saying that states need to step in and take that additional decision to reduce the state taxes on fuel and further give relief to the common man. Remember, petrol has been extremely high, especially if we look at some of the metros where it has been more than 100 rupees per litre, and this has been several months of increasing petrol and diesel prices as well. This is also a result of the global crude prices, which have been going up as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war. But now, of course, the centre has stepped in, deciding to reduce the excise duty. So playing its part here, petrol prices will come down by nearly 10 rupees now. Of course, now what remains to be seen is that whether the states step in as well. Some of the other announcements here made by the Finance Minister is a subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinder to over 9 crore beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, as well as reducing the customs duty on raw material and intermediaries for plastic products. So a list of a slew of announcements here being made. Let me bring in Hina as well. Hina, we were talking about this since earlier on today, that this was possibly on the cards, some sort of relief as far as the inflationary pressures that we are seeing are concerned. And here the centre has come in and made that announcement. All right, I think we have...
Well, that's right. It's not but it has come from the centre side. And like we were reporting since morning, that
Yes, Hina, please. All right, I think we've lost that connection with Hina. We will just try and reconnect with her at this point in time. But these are some of the other announcements being made. Customs duty on raw material and intermediaries for plastic products, where our import dependence is high, which will result in the reduction of cost of final products. Similarly, we are calibrating customs duty on raw materials and intermediaries for iron and steel to reduce their prices as well. All right, Hina is back with us. Yes, Hina, please go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that, like we've been reporting since morning, that it's probably going to be a reduction in the excise duty, because this is what even the Prime Minister spoke about when he had a meeting with the Chief Ministers of all states and union territories. He had urged the states, the non-BJP ruled states specifically, to give some relief to the people. Now, centre has slashed, in fact, the excise duty on petrol by 8 rupees per litre, on diesel by 6 rupees per litre. And this is going to make our petrol petrol and diesel, bill much cheaper. Petrol price is going to come down straight away by 9.5 rupees per liter. Diesel bill is going to come down by 7 rupees per liter, even though it's going to cost the center around 1 lakh crore per year as far as the revenue loss is concerned. Now, this is a very, very significant news. Apart from this, we've been reporting that how the CNG prices have been going up as well. The LPG prices have been going up. So in this inflation package that the center has announced today, there is a component involving the gas cylinder prices too. This year, the government will give a subsidy of 200 rupees per gas cylinders up to 12 cylinders. So if a household is buying 12 cylinders in a month, then there will be a subsidy of 200 rupees per cylinder, and this is going to benefit over 9 crore beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Government says this will have a revenue implication of around 6,100 crore rupees. Like this, there are other important announcements also that have been made by the center. For example, customs duty on raw materials and intermediaries for plastic products where our import dependence is quite high, that has been reduced. It will reduce the cost of final product. So that's a good news for the MSME sector and especially the industries which are in the chemical space. So some very, very important announcements coming in, and we can clearly say that, this is going to give all of us a big relief as far as our fuel bill, on a monthly basis is concerned. We'll have to see whether states will also now follow suit and maybe consider giving us more relief by reducing VAT or not.
Yes, absolutely, Hina. Like you pointed out, now, of course, it's to see whether states do that. And Finance Minister has, in fact, said that it is now the states' turn. So till now, we've always seen states sort of passing the buck onto the centre, saying centre needs to reduce excise. So centre has now come out and walked the talk. It is now to be seen whether states follow suit.
Well, that's right. Like I mentioned, we'll have to see whether states are now going to follow or not. Because if we are paying, say, 100 odd rupees for 1 liter of petrol in the national capital, then if 32 odd rupees is going to the center's kitty, states are also earning somewhere around 27 odd rupees from that 100 odd rupees that we are paying for 1 liter of petrol in the national capital. So center has slashed, the excise duty on petrol, diesel in a big way. Now we'll have to wait and watch, because that also, is going to be additional relief to all of us. But whether the states will have the elbow room to do this or not, that remains to be seen. Because so far, the arguments of states, especially non-BJP states, has been that, they do not have enough sources of revenue, just like the center. And because of the pandemic, even their finances are under pressure. So, it's not feasible for them to slash VAT on petrol and diesel, but it remains to be seen whether some states will follow or not, because even though last time in November, when the center had slashed excise duty by 5 rupees and 10 rupees on petrol and diesel, at least the BJP ruled states and some non-BJP ruled states, including Punjab, Odisha, etc., did reduce VAT on petrol and diesel. So we'll have to wait and see whether this time also states are going to follow suit or not.
Absolutely, Hina. The other important point will also be as to how much of an effect is this going to have on the overall inflationary pressure, because that has also been, fuel has been a major trigger as far as the high inflation in the country is concerned, both at the retail and wholesale level. So we'll have to now wait and see how much this is going to impact that and bring down the overall inflation pressure in the country right now.
Well, that's right. The biggest reason why our inflation level was quite high was because of the fuel prices, the way they were rising. And when we have transportation of food items taking place, then this fuel inflation also has got a inflation level was so high right now. Retail inflation at 8-year high, wholesale inflation crossing 15%, remaining in double digits for 13th month in a row. Now, of course, if fuel tax has been cut from the center side, it's definitely going to bring in some relief, and hopefully overall in a few months we can expect that inflation level overall is also going to go down.
All right, Hina, thank you so much for getting us all of those details and all of that perspective. We'll, of course, continue to get in more reactions and break it down for our viewers as to how much of an impact is all of this going to have on your pockets, your monthly budgets, and, of course, the inflation in the country. But all of that after this break. Time to slip into a very quick break at this point.